Before watch our video, take a moment for subscribe our channel by click on subscribe button, and click on bell icon, then you will be first to know when we post new video.
While I haven't expressed much enthusiasm for the preliminary contests of UFC Fresno, there are legitimately some solid fights worth paying attention to on the main card. Though it was put together relatively late, Marlon Moraes and Aljamain Sterling is about as good as the main event. A couple of other contests should be pure barn burners. Jason Knight is never in a boring fight, and Gabriel Benitez should bring the best out of him. Albert Moraes is again tonight, and he should have a willing dance partner in Benito Lopez. While I admit some of these contests aren't the highest level of MMA, they should represent the cream of the crop in terms of entertainment. After all, isn't that all we really want? Everybody loves them some Hick Diaz, as Knight is affectionately known. Brandishing a stand-up style heavily reliant on volume sprinkled with a healthy dose of trash talk, it's impossible to miss the comparisons to MMA's preeminent brother duo. Though there is no major difference between the renowned brothers' style and Knight on the feet, Knight does tend to be more aggressive in putting his pace on his opponents, whereas the Diaz tend to lure opponents into what they're trying to do using their savvy and trash talk. At 25 years old, Knight still has a lot of time to learn the nuances of the sport that will help him avoid taking the type of damage he took in his loss to Ricardo Lamas. Benitez is often overlooked in the deep featherweight division, a bit of a surprising development given his penchant for action fights. His basic strategy is simple enough, circling around his opponent with a steady stream of kicks to the legs and body in hopes of drawing out some reactions he can counter with his left hand. The southpaw's power has been overlooked before, dropping Sam Cecilia last year. The big hole that Benitez can no longer cover up, his takedown defense. Knight is a potential star for the UFC. His attitude and rambunctious style are an easy sell for fans. Though Benitez isn't a pushover, he's being matched against Knight to get the 25-year-old back on track. Don't be surprised if Knight looks to utilize his improved wrestling and perhaps secure a submission, but a decision appears to be more likely. Knight via decision. The true co-main event of the evening, Moraes and Sterling may very well be the top talents in the bantamweight division if we're talking strictly about athleticism. Despite their talents, they have yet to fully harness all their gifts to make themselves legitimate title contenders. A victory for either one could potentially launch them into that stratosphere. Moraes secured a controversial victory over John Dodson less than a month ago. He made some in-fight adjustments against Dodson, something he struggled to do against Rafael Assunção in his UFC debut. Instead of allowing Dodson to wait for the counter, though wrestling is Sterling's strength, he has struggled to get his opponents to the ground as he began facing a higher level of opposition. Though he relentlessly chains his attempts together and is extremely creative with his submissions, he isn't the strongest man, and he can end up draining his gas tank in the process. Given that, Sterling has adjusted his approach to include a striking game centered on low, push, and side kicks from a distance. It has proven to be a functional way for Sterling to win points battles, but he isn't a threat to finish anyone. It should be noted though that Sterling has made enough strides in his boxing that he is competent standing in the pocket and trading punches. Moraes' stand-up is similar to that of Sterling, except Moraes is far more explosive. Sure, Moraes throws low kicks and will throw inside kicks, but it is his head kicks that opponents truly fear, as he can throw them out of nowhere from odd angles. Like Sterling, his fists are competent, but nothing more than that. Nonetheless, he has more confidence in his fists than Sterling, and that in itself can often make all the difference in the world. On the ground, Moraes is difficult to put away and opportunistic with the guillotine. This is a very difficult contest to predict. Moraes didn't necessarily show any new skills in his repertoire against Dodson, only a better way to employ them.
Thanks for watching our video. If you like our video, then just click on thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe our channel by click on subscribe button.